Alright, what's up? It is like what? It's the 9th today, I believe. I'm trying to do a little bit better keeping track of the days. I realized most of the time I would never know what day it was. Terrible at that, keeping track. You know, when you have no plans or anything, it's pretty easy to lose track of the days, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because you know, once you start getting busier and actually start planning things, you got to adjust to that. So I want to start adjusting to that right now, learning to keep track of the days, learning to keep a calendar. I feel like that's something I also need to do better at, keeping an actual calendar and having things marked, like build dates or like just events in general, days off, things like that. And I'm trying to improve that right now as well, keeping track of everything. Started doing journaling. I feel like that really helps. At least the past like 3 days I've been doing journaling. So far it kind of helps relax. I kind of use it as a way to keep off my phone in the mornings, just because I realized it was a problem where I would wake up and I would just instantly go onto like YouTube or TikTok and just scroll for no reason. I would try catching myself and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? But then I would see myself just like switching back and forth between apps for no reason and not really having anything to do. But I would try doing more and trying to like go downstairs, cook, and do things like that. But I realized I was still having trouble with that, so I was like, you know, let me just start journaling. Also helps get things off my mind, kind of practicing appreciating things. I've been trying to do a little bit more of that as well. And yeah, that's kind of something I've been trying to do in the mornings as well, to kind of help improve kind of just being off social media and everything, in the sense of not just scrolling through it. I'm just trying to be off of it entirely, and I have gotten better, I've realized, but you know, it takes time, just like with anything, to help, you know, get away from all that. But yeah, today's a good day so far. I didn't really do anything too crazy. I did chest and biceps, I did incline bench and incline dumbbell press, incline flies, chest flies, did hex press and bicep curls, strict press with both dumbbells and the bar, like a regular bar, doing curls with that as well. And did cardio. I only did it for 10 minutes just because I have to hurry and rush right now. So it is important to do your cardio. Sometimes I do lack just because my job does call me in like randomly, so it's like I can't really sometimes I have to cut it short, which does suck, but you know, it's important. At least for me, I feel like I struggled being consistent and everything with having a job. Like, I would be able to get the job, but then randomly I would just start calling off for literally no reason, just to play video games and do nothing, which is terrible. So I've gotten to a point where I just don't call off at all. And you know, if they need me to come in early, I'll go in early. And just doing things like that also helps improve. You know, if you can't even keep a job, why, you know, you're not going to be able to have your own business or do anything like that if you can't even hold yourself accountable to that point. At least that's how I see it. So that's another thing I've been trying to do, is just not call off at all, be more consistent, try going in early. And you know, the gym also helps with that. So, but all this was like small things leading up to what I want to do, and it's been good so far. You know, learning patience is a big thing as well. And something I tried doing today, I laughed at myself. I've been trying to be more social and kind of failed. Not failed, I would say. I feel like it was a success, but for me, my mind goes so crazy whenever I try talking to somebody. It takes me like 20 to 30 minutes just to build up the courage to talk to someone, or they'll just leave, like, before I can even say anything. So it's like I'll see a workout somebody's doing, or I'll see something cool, and I'm like, dang, that's like, today, for example, I'm like, all right, I saw this person with a really nice book bag, and I really like the patchwork that was on it, and I'm like, man, that looks really cool. Like, imagine just having that on your book bag. I'm like, wow, I want to say something. But getting to that point of saying something, in my head, I'm like building up excuses not to talk to this person. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if this person just instantly doesn't want to talk? What if they mean mug me? They don't even look like they want to talk. Like, I'm giving myself so many excuses not to talk to this person. But that's just me in my head, and I do that every time. And it's like, they're most likely not going to do that, but you see it happen so often to other people, just because that's the way social media is, where it's like, you don't really see the successes where people have. At least for me, whenever I was on social media and whenever I saw something like that, it was always like an embarrassing moment. Someone posted like, oh my gosh, this happened to this person. And I feel like that plays on in my head whenever I try talking to someone. I'm like, oh my gosh, when they say the worst thing they could say is no. But then you're seeing all this stuff where like they're getting made fun of or things like that. But those are the extreme circumstances you see. But I say all that because it took me like 20-30 minutes to build up the encouragement to talk to this person. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just go talk to this person. Like, just go talk. Like, just say what was on your mind. There's no reason to be thinking of all these other things, like, for no reason. At least for me, because it was also a female, I've been trying to avoid that. Just me as a person, I'm trying to avoid just speaking to like females in general, just because I don't want to. I don't know why, to be honest. I think I'm just scared. But yeah, it took me like 20-30 minutes anyways to talk to this person, and then they left. And I'm like, wow, I did all that, contemplated for no reason, and now I'm just like, all right, now I'm never gonna see this person. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, if I do see this person, I'm gonna go say what I was thinking. And, you know, I finished my set, and then I see the person again. I'm like, all right, just go for it, right? And then I just said it. I'm like, hey, I like your book bag, you know? I think it's cool. And then I was like, what type of flag is that? I don't know what type of flag that is. And then that was it. But I forgot to ask the person's name. I was doing so much thinking about what was gonna happen, and they just smiled and said thank you, and I didn't even ask the person's name. And I felt like they were waiting for me to ask that, because it was just like holding eye contact, and I'm like, oh snap, that's it, thank you, bye. And then I just I didn't even ask the person's name, and I walk away, and I realize, I'm like, I didn't even ask their name. What am I doing? That's so disrespectful to anyone. Bro, I just see like 3 Porsches sitting right next to each other for no reason. Is that a GT3 RS? Nah, it's a Chimera. Alright, anyways, yeah, bro, like, I hope I could see her again so I could ask her name and just like say what was going on. And I just want to be able to talk to people more. But it was so funny. Like, I was worrying so much about what I was going to say, and just to just say it, that I feel like it came off rude that I didn't even ask her name. So it's important to just go up and talk to people, man. Like, she just smiled, said thank you, and you know, that was it. That was the end of it. Like, it's not that hard. Just overthinking so much for no reason. I just put it all in my head. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. I want to get better at that. Another thing. Yep.